Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in to Feeding the Curse. We are here Thanksgiving week 2023. It's take two. Sorry about those that were watching and we had a little bit of a snafu. That's on me, but we are back. We are here. I'm happy to be here. Stevie, thank you for joining on mic 2. FP's on mic 3. I think we had just started discussing the Commanders and what happened with the Giants. Honestly, maybe we want to pivot. There's 100 other topics that I'd rather talk about.
Who cares?
I want to talk about Angel Reese and her suspension from the LSU basketball team. I don't know if you're following that story, Stevie. I know she's your girl. I mean, you're very much into that story, right? She can't keep her grades up, apparently, so she can't play basketball anymore. Jordan Poole is stinking it up big time with the Wizards. I think that's a fascinating story. Ovechkin's chasing, he's finding a groove here, FP. I think we can talk about that. All things I'm more interested in right now than the Commanders. The Commanders stink so bad. Stevie, did you watch any of the game on Sunday?
Zippy.
Did you
had a lovely Sunday?
In your heart, did you think they were going to win this game?
I didn't care.
Yeah, well, I know. See,
in my heart, I didn't
have
care.
The sweet release of not caring. I don't have that yet.
Dude, the
I'm
10-minute
legacy. I'm buying clothes on eBay.
It looks good.
Now.
It looks good on you. Okay. And I mean, watching the Chiefs do the tomahawk chop.
Oh yeah. It's okay for them. It's not okay for us.
This team has no future, has no past now because they got rid of the past, has no present.
Oh, there's a soundbite.
I mean, that 10-minute YouTube recap that me and my kids watch of the game is plenty. It's all I needed to see. Nothing's changed. It never was Dan Snyder. That was always my contention. It has nothing to do with Dan Snyder.
Well, yeah. Some of it had to do.
There's still no hot water.
There's still no. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
There's no hot water. They stink going in, and they literally stink coming out. They figuratively stink going in, and they literally stink coming out. Is Sam Howell, Stevie,
incredible,
regressed significantly on Sunday. I know you didn't watch it. I mean, you're still in on Howell. You're okay with Howell.
I think any opinion that's being formed on Sam Howell behind this offensive line with this coaching system and this dysfunction in a dump like FedEx Field with no fans behind him, you cannot form an opinion on him except positive. Anything he does positive is legit, and anything he does negative, I'm willing to throw out completely because no one.
You started talking. I was getting ready to push back. I actually really like that take. I think I'm on board. I'm fine.
The simplest. Sometimes the simplest.
No fight left in me. I don't have any fight left in me. I think this is actually a very reasonable take. Anything?
I think that's the biggest take right there. I have no fight in me. I don't care about anything Redskins related anymore.
Love it.
It's not my team. I don't like the black. I don't like the black uniforms. I don't like the coaching staff. I don't like the play calling.
It is your team. Okay,
it's not.
You don't want to be associated with a loser. That's fine.
But we don't have
your heart. You are a loser. I'm a loser. Okay?
No.
We cheered for this team long enough. We're losers.
I look at Joe's eBay thrift store Redskins hoodie and I long for it. Like
it's awesome. This is awesome. This is my team. Okay,
you watch
bag
trash on FedEx.
That team sucked too. Okay, we're 35 years old. Okay, that team sucked for 25 years.
Point is very valid here. The team had a past. Okay, and it wasn't like it wasn't an embarrassment at this level. This is just bad. Stevie, they have now lost to the worst team statistically in football, barely beat the second worst statistical team, lost to the third statistically worst team. And it's maddening, right? Like
Tommy DeVito.
I don't think that's his first name, but
his name is Tommy.
He had 60 yards passing 2 weeks ago. He had 2 60-yard drives in the first half on Sunday. It was embarrassing. How JDR is still employed? Like this is not, and it's not a hot take. I'm asking a question here. If you're that bad at your job for 4 years, and in the half season right now that we're in, you've traded away your best players in the idea that the scheme will somehow protect the team or somehow there'll be a bump in performance. This is like they literally lost to a guy that was bagging groceries 5 minutes ago, who lives at home, who
Not named Kurt Warner.
Dude, the reality is
it's so bad.
I'm sorry, Joe. You ask, how does JDR have a job, or how does Ron Rivera have a job? You listen. If you're dating a girl and you don't get rid of her until you got a better one waiting for you.
No, that's not true.
Okay,
that's not true at all.
You're just hanging on here. Okay,
how far you want to push this analogy?
I'm just saying. Okay, there's nobody in the building that can replace Eric Bieniemy. Is not a head coach. I'm not even sure he's an offensive coordinator at this point. He's not a head coach. Okay, and if he was, he would have been hired long ago. He's not a head coach.
Wouldn't you want to figure that out now before you go into the offseason and think maybe EB's the guy?
I don't think anyone thinks he's the guy. I don't
think maybe Harris and ownership group does. Maybe Magic Johnson's looking at EB and he's saying, "Hey, maybe
there's some racial undertone."
Yeah, there's a little racial undertone there.
It's a weird twist on the Rooney Rule here, but it's like a reverse Rooney Rule situation.
I mean,
I don't know if I'm not willing to say Bieniemy's not the guy. I don't think he is the guy, but I'm not willing to say he's not. Can it be worse than what we have right now? That's the question I keep coming back to. You don't want to get rid of Ron because JDR steps up into that spot. You don't want to get rid of JDR because you seemingly, I guess Kerrigan would be next up to call defensive packages, and he's not ready for that. Like you ruined
your high school coach.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Backs coach.
But offensively, you could make an argument. I would not make it, but you could make an argument that offensively, Bieniemy has earned his keep, and he's doing what you brought him here to do, which is develop Sam Howell. You could argue that. I would look at other positions before looking at Howell and saying this is the problem.
Listen,
his performance on Sunday was a problem.
The mere fact that Sam Howell in the last couple games has gotten sacked like a third of the times he was sacked, in those first 5 games, is not because Sam Howell's getting rid of the ball quicker, as people say it is. It's because of the change they made, getting rid of Nick Gates.
Reluctantly changed.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. For that reason alone, I'm out on Eric Bieniemy. If it took you 7-8 games to figure out,
that's not Bieniemy. That's Ron.
That's Ron. That was Ron.
Those are Ron's guys. Ron brought them in. Ron signed them before Bieniemy was here.
Guys,
and Ron for 4 years in a row now,
I think,
has made the roster move 6 games too late. That
guys,
everybody in the world can see.
You're turning Ron into the Dan Snyder. Blame everything on Ron.
Keep in mind, Bieniemy. It's interesting take, Stevie, because he's ultimately responsible for the offense. So that means everyone that's on the offense, but I don't know if his job is to evaluate the line play. I don't think he's the one that's calling in sub packages. Like they have coaches for that.
No. Guys, I don't think he has a say on roster, right? I think if the head coach says these are the guys, then Bieniemy's going to be like, all right, those are the guys. I'll do what I can with them.
Yeah, the fact that those guys stink is on Ron. The fact that they're in the building, that's on Ron. The fact
you guys watch Ron for 3 hours a week on Sunday. You think that guy has any input Monday through Friday on what's going on the field? There's no way, especially on offense with Bieniemy.
If you think Ron is as checked out during the week as he is on the game, he is actively destroying this roster Monday through Friday, taking Saturday off and resuming on Sunday.
You want me to talk about Joey Sly?
Listen, this is what it comes down to. All right. Before the game on Sunday, I was like, we should win 56-0. We're playing a third string nobody. The Giants suck. They did nothing against the Cowboys.
The Giants have given up. They've given up.
Listen, 5 seconds into the game on Sunday, completely different tune. I wanted the Redskins to get blown out. I wanted to lose. I wanted to be worse than the Monday Night Massacre. I wanted the world to be set on fire so I could see Ron Rivera go. Now, Tuesday afternoon, I flipped again, right? I'm back on keep Ron Rivera, but for one specific reason. He is the only coach that will help us tank by not tanking. Nobody wants to tank.
He's trying to
players don't want to tank. Fans don't want to see a tank, but his ineptness at being a coach will cause us to get a higher draft pick, which causes us to be a more desirable place for a new coach to come in. So keep Ron here. So his stupidity can get us a higher draft pick.
I'm not going to say it the way Stevie said it. I don't think they have another option that necessarily merits the change right now in the building. I don't think they're comfortable making putting this all on Bieniemy because it seals his fate too. I think
seal his fate. Who cares? On everyone. When Steve says we keep blaming Dan Snyder. This is all just the remnants of Dan Snyder. We had a giant cancer. The tumor was removed,
I don't know if Bieniemy is
whatever,
part of the
and now you got to
Snyder,
scrape out the
No,
dead
I'm
dead
not.
stuff.
I don't know.
I'm
if I love
starting to
that.
feel bad for a $6 billion guy sitting on an island right now.
But
Okay.
defensively, even if Ron is going to keep his job, because there isn't anyone else in the building that they trust necessarily to step into that role to keep the team together and to try, I suppose, to win games. JDR's defense. There was a stat you shared with us, FP. I'm just gonna TDs allowed from outside of the red zone. Stevie, this won't make any sense because you don't watch football. But
bad.
TDs allowed from outside the red zone. Teams with 2, Kansas City, Baltimore. Teams with 3, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me spare you this. There's 4 teams with 4, 3 teams with 5, 7 teams with 6 possessions that resulted in a touchdown from outside the red zone. 2 teams have allowed it 7 times, 2 teams 8 times, 3 teams 9 times. 0 teams have allowed it 10. 0 teams have allowed it 11. 0 teams 12. 0 teams 13. 1 team has allowed it to happen 14 times. The Washington Commanders. That alone. Goodbye. Like JDR shouldn't be here. He can't be here.
Not to get in the way of hard-hitting football actual analysis, but you know what needs to happen is I forgot the owner's name. Josh Harris needs to publicly say something.
He won't. Why? There's nothing good.
There's too much speculation going on.
Look at Magic. He's got a mouthpiece in Magic sharing whatever he wants. Magic is
no. What Josh Harris needs to do is you either take a play out of Snyder's playbook and you hide until the end of the season, or you make a statement right away. What Josh Harris is currently doing is having news headlines go out that he invited all of his elementary school friends to come to FedEx Field on Sunday
for a win
and watch his team because it was the safest game on the schedule to see a win.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bad look.
In light of a GM would come out right now and make a statement where there's no GM. Where's Doug Williams? Where's Doug Williams?
Where's your boy Jason? I mean, don't answer that question because I think we know where he is. Right? He's busy doing other things. But yeah, where's your boy Jason? Right? Where's Doug Williams? Where are all these clowns? But look, Stevie, I think him coming out, like he brought in semi-quietly brought in the analytics, Eugene, whatever, the analytics guy.
Chen.
I think the move that I would most appreciate right now is not as much as I want Ron gone. It doesn't change the trajectory of the season at this point. Just keep the cast of characters as they are. I want him to be stripped of his GM responsibilities. If he quits from there, that's Ron's choice of doing it. But I want him stripped of his personnel and decision making when it comes to
the trade deadline's over. There's no what is this GM responsibility?
Because if you're in charge of the team or I'm in charge of the team, I'm not hiring any coach before I filled my GM and personnel like management positions first.
Agreed.
So as we know that we're going to be like, I want the guy who's going to hire the guy. Like I want to start the interview process and identification of that guy now. The coach on the field, he's dead man walking anyway. So like for me, I want to start the GM search now. I'm not a fan of
the vacancy first.
If you believe was it Dan Patrick or whoever, they've already started it and have concluded that Bill Belichick is the guy.
No.
If you believe that report,
I think he's more likely to end up in Vegas. I don't see what benefit would it present to Bill Belichick to come here.
Dude, Belichick in Vegas would be. They have to put those women on alert.
But Belichick and
his walk of shame video.
Belichick Brady already owns a part of that team, if I'm not mistaken. That's why he's not in the booth calling games.
They don't have a relationship.
Brady and Belichick don't like each other.
Maybe not. Right? But it makes more sense to go to Vegas with Patricia calling the defense and pick anyone off the scrap heap. Maybe Vrabel to call the offense over there if he gets canned.
Could you imagine if he brings in McDaniels as his OC?
No, there's no way. He's done. That guy's ruined 2 teams in the same division. He's done.
Listen, nobody cares about Bill Belichick.
I want to talk about Belichick.
Ron Rivera.
Like everyone cares about the Commanders.
I feel strongly about this. I think that's the message.
Hope our listeners care about the Commanders.
Even if he doesn't strip Ron of it now, because Stevie, you pointed out, like there's nothing really at the personnel from a personnel perspective that he can do except sign players to the practice squad or whatever at this point. I think coming out and saying that the Commanders are starting their search now for executive leadership, right? And that includes Doug Williams and Jason Wright and all of these guys, all of them. Like, start that now, because you need to get the guy in place who's going to hire the guy. And I know it's the same cast like Ben Johnson. It's the same names that keep coming up over and over. My fear is that we end up with a retread or somebody who is like a Ron Rivera, who can milk one winning season or some success with a young quarterback into bamboozling into a, like, what business does Ron have being head of personnel and head coach, right? It's Ron. I mean, if we're going to be honest here, like, Dan Snyder was desperate. He had to make a hire.
How much is Ron making?
I think it's 7 or 8 per.
That's nice. Good on him, man. Good on him.
I mean, you heard his press conference, right? He's talking. I pulled the clips. I'm not going to play them because they're annoying to listen to. But he's talking about. They're asking him about his performance as a head coach. He's talking about, I changed the culture. Okay, like, you were in the building when the culture was changing. I agree with that statement.
Dude beat cancer.
Right. Okay.
No, I mean,
but the fact that he was in the room deciding the name of the franchise, that really bothers me. That really bothers me.
He did change the culture as far as the toxic that was coming out of the locker room from the Gruden show, from the Mike Shanahan show. He
tightened
fixed
things up.
that.
Sure.
He tightened that up. But also, his culture is not good either, because
his talent evaluation is not good.
No. Even his culture isn't good, because you had 2 years ago, last year ago, Payne and Allen getting in a fight, right? Apparently, it's the culture. And then when you trade away Chase, what's happened? He wasn't a team player. He was a diva. He wasn't practicing. You're tarnishing the culture change. And then even
you're saying he's taking shots on the way out.
The culture that he's claiming he changed, he is also saying that there's a bad culture out there, because even this week, Ron Rivera, to defend himself about the shit show that we saw on Sunday, he's saying we need to be more mature. We can't celebrate as much. We can't be divas. And he's calling out BSJ and Emmanuel Forbes doing the little bird dance or whatever that they do on the field and the lockdown symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So either you fix the culture, or you didn't fix the culture, right? And Ron doesn't have an answer. He can't claim that he fixed the culture and then also blame the culture for losing. And then he can't claim that he found his quarterback.
He's on
and
every
then have
side
his
of the issue.
and then have his quarterback come out and throw 3 interceptions. Ron Rivera is treading water. He is pointless.
Howell to date is his best draft pick, and he played really bad on Sunday. And he played bad against a bad defense, right? This wasn't a high caliber defense that took advantage of him. He was making bad throws. He struggled to get the ball out of bounds to throw it to the sideline. He had a 4th pick bounce off of whatever on the Giants defense.
I mean,
that was a bad all around performance. The Bears game was bad. This one I think was worse.
The surrounding team, right? If CJ Stroud,
hold on. Throw the ball.
CJ Stroud comes out on the Texans, right, where DeMeco Ryans has improved that team instantly, right? Where another 2013 Redskins coach and Bobby Slonik comes out and he's doing a great job at OC. If CJ Stroud comes out and he has 3 interceptions, 250 yards, whatever, but they get the win, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. The praise continues for CJ Stroud. He's learning, he's growing, blah, 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 blah. But because Sam is doing it on this broken team, then everybody's going to pinpoint their hatred to Sam.
This is my last
uncalled for, which is what Steve was saying. It's uncalled for to put all the blame on Sam for that game. He's essentially a rookie who had everything go against him this game. And so he clicked into hero ball mode, and he was just starting to sling it out there because Charles Leno can't protect crap, because Sam Cosmi couldn't do crap, because Wiley can't do anything.
Young guy made some mistakes. Okay, I'm with you. But again, McLaurin was here before Ron.
Yes.
And he'll be here after Ron. And I said this before, and I said it, and I was gentler about it, but I'm going to say it again now. I don't think he's a number 1. I just don't. I don't think he's got the same moxie, right, as an AJ Brown or even a Devonta Adams or some of these other like legitimate, or Tyreek or some of these legitimate game changers where you just get it in their hands and something will happen. I believe that Terry will catch the ball if you throw it towards him, but he's not striking fear into this. This is a terrible secondary that they could not take advantage of.
I'll put it this way. He's not a number 1 but
It's close.
It's similar to the Seahawks. DK Metcalf is not their number one. If you look at the numbers, it's Tyler Lockett. Terry needs a DK Metcalf. He needs a big body, an AJ Brown. He needs that insane athlete freak receiver to make his job easier as the number one.
Sure. And I'm out on these hybrid tight ends. I'm 100% out on all these tight ends. Logan Paulson Thomas, all of them. I don't care what their names are.
Logan
Fumbles
Thomas.
too much. He stinks. Okay, like I know he converted quarterback. We like him. He's smart. Whatever.
Don't like him.
He doesn't know how to get down. He gives up. It's the third or fourth fumble this season. Basically the same play over and over. First guy stops him. Second guy punches the ball out. It's the same thing over and over.
I mean, Terry McLaurin. You look at every position. Terry McLaurin is a number one receiver on a bad team. In the same way that Tyler Lawson or whatever is a starting center on a bad team. So Terry McLaurin is not a number one on a competitive playoff caliber team. Now,
I don't believe that. No. I don't believe that. If you put McLaurin on the Lions, Amon-Ra is going to be pegged down, and Terry.
No.
I truly believe Terry goes above.
Dude, FP. No. I have never seen
maybe with the Jets
separation on a DB. Show me one time where McLaurin is wide open, like streaking down the field.
But is that Terry or is that scheming?
Well, listen,
I've seen Dotson do it.
Yeah, I've seen Jahan do it too.
I've seen Diami drop the ball wide open.
Well, Diami shouldn't be on the team anymore.
He drops the ball, but he's wide open.
But if you have those same guys getting those routes, but not Terry, that's scheme. They're on the field at the same time.
I'm saying
if Terry is being told to slant in and Diami's being told go far, that's scheming. They're not setting it up for Terry to be the guy. They're setting it up for their speed guy.
But at times, Bieniemy has tried to turn him into the guy, right? Just force feeding him the ball.
No, Bieniemy.
I don't think he's capable of it.
Bieniemy's trying to turn him into Pierre Garçon. He's trying to make him a possession receiver.
What's Terry McLaurin's best game this season? Like 8 catches for 70 yards, 110 yards, 120 yards. Like show me the 150 3 weeks in a row that CeeDee Lamb put up. Doesn't have it. You know, show me the game. Cortland Sutton has 2 game-winning touchdown grabs. From again, you can make your argument, whatever, but like
you're comparing good offenses to our offense.
What I'm saying is I don't believe that defenses that are scheming to stop the Commanders care whether it's McLaurin in the X or Jahan in the Y.
That's
Curtis in the Z. They don't
defenses don't care about anybody on the offense because our scheme is terrible. And we do the same thing over and over and over again.
There's also a personnel component. You have to know where AJ Brown is. You have to know where Devonta Adams is. You have to know where Tyreek is. Like those guys are scheme proof, right? And we used to say that about Terry. He was quarterback proof. He's going to catch anything from anyone. But now that he's got a quarterback who can legitimately deliver the ball to him, some of the things that Stevie's talking about, hey, maybe he's not getting the separation he's supposed to. Maybe
he's not being used.
Terry. Maybe that moniker that Jay gave him from a speed perspective, maybe he's not there.
That's Bieniemy though, because under Scott Turner somehow he was being schemed open.
Is he employed, by the way?
He is the quarterback consultant or whatever on the Raiders.
He's got to be a Westfield.
I mean, and then
Centerville High School.
You look at a guy like I want to talk about Joshua. I'm done. Unless you guys really want to keep talking about the Commanders, I want to talk about Joshua.
I haven't wanted to talk about that.
I love Joshua Dobbs. I love the story. I think.
Are we going to get to baseball?
I'm happy.
Baseball's over. Nobody cares about baseball.
Listen, I wanted to talk about FP vetoed this. I wanted to talk about the rule change that's going to change soccer. I mean,
oh my God,
you want to talk about a pitch? Actually, let me just talk about it now. Stevie, the pitch clock changed baseball. It made the game shorter, and it made it better. The onside offside rule. I know FP is going to die here, but the onside offside rule that likely will be adopted by FIFA for universal adoption will change soccer. You're going to see more goals consistently. Are you following the story at all?
We're in the meat of NBA, NHL,
break it down for you. Do you know how onside and offsides works? Right, I'm going to mute FP.
I know how off.
Okay, so if your pinky or your dingling or whatever is like 1 inch offside, you're offside. That's going to change completely now. Like you have to be an entire foot basically offside to be offside. It's going to totally change things. Which means you're going to get fast players.
I'm happy for you.
I mean, I'm excited about it.
I'm happy for you.
Also, in keeping with the soccer news, FP, you were watching yesterday when the Pete Davidson lookalike Dest on the U.S. men's national team punted the ball into space for absolutely no reason.
Yes.
Against Trinidad and Tobago.
You know why I was watching? That's how bad the Wizards are. Let's bring it back to DC sports.
Yeah,
the Wizards are so astronomically
for.
miserable to look at. The in-season tournament courts are so ugly. Everything
Poole,
about that is so bad.
Jordan
I watched
Poole is so
soccer.
terrible.
Jordan FB watched soccer over the Wizards or over
They got to shut down the NBA.
Yes, the entire league needs to go.
No,
There'll be like 6 people that would miss
Can we
it.
get rid? Like, can we do a commissioner change? It's terrible. It's awful.
I mean, they went woke. I mean, what can you do? What can you say? The in-season tournament, the trying to capitalize and like pull more eyeballs in. The in-season tournament will ultimately back. Are you even following that story? The in-season tournament is going to ultimately backfire because it was meant to make less competitive teams care, or people care about less competitive teams for like a short stint, right? It's a tournament, everybody's involved. It's the in-season thing. It's like the FA Cup in
yeah. I mean, they're mimicking soccer, but what they should do to make it really interesting is bring in some G League teams.
Yes,
bring
and
in
this is the
European
point.
Teams.
Go to Clay Travis, bring in the WNBA teams, bring in the G League, bring in the super high caliber. Use the in-season NBA tournament as a tune-up for the collegiate ranks. Like the reason the FA Cup is such a big deal in England is because it brings 7 leagues of teams into the mix, and it's the luck of the draw who you play.
Right.
The in-season NBA tournament is just the NBA teams playing against each other again
on ugly ass courts.
The courts are wild, yeah, but like, yeah. I mean, I would love to see a WNBA team get pulled into the in-season.
I would love to see
and make them play 3-on-5.
I would love to see like a Duke or a Kentucky team or whatever go against the Wizards.
Yeah, I want to see a
bunch of college players.
I want to see a regional Fairfax team just organize and get pulled into the lottery system. Yeah, why not?
Church league ball.
Fine, whatever. But like the premise doesn't make sense. I think ultimately they'll stop it, but whatever. But Jordan Poole, just to bring it back to the Wizards may not win 15 games. Like I think the Vegas set a line of like 22.5. I don't think they're going to get there.
Jordan Poole's terrible.
Jordan Poole's bad. Kuzma looks like he's actually developed a more like a well-rounded jump shot, but it's lost on this.
How much would a fella like Jordan Poole be making right now?
Jordan Poole's earning, I think he's on a $175 million I think something like that. I mean, there's some good NBA.
Bradley Beal's on the Suns, hurt with his hurt back. He's played only 3 games, and he's probably going to miss a bunch more games. Suns 1,000% lost. I'm bringing in Beal because they didn't realize that he's a giant vagine.
The Spurs kid sucks.
No, Wemby does not suck.
Doesn't suck.
He doesn't suck. No. He's very big, very lanky.
Good. And his teammate on the Wizards is good. Bilal is good too.
Koulibaly is good too. Wemby, Stevie, can be in the paint and get to the 3-point line to block a shot at the same time. He is like there was a series last week. It was Suns and Spurs, where for like a back and forth, like a 3-4 minute game stretch, it was Kevin Durant and Wemby locked on each other. And it was literally like watching 2 dinosaurs, like 2 like aliens amongst like normal sized people try to guard and like go back and forth. That was like, I likened it to, I was trying to explain it to my wife. She didn't care, but just like you both don't care right now. I likened it to Shaq and Yao.
You cared probably a little more.
You remember Shaq and Yao when they would face off and like Shaq was like Diesel, right? And Yao was taller. Somehow Yao Ming was taller. And every time these guys played, it was appointment television. Like that's the feeling I had with Wemby and Durant. But I mean, he's young. He's going to have to learn
the 6 people that watch the NBA could easily pick up college basketball, which is significantly more exciting. I myself went to a GW, my alma mater, went to GW basketball game. There's like 300 people in the gym. It's amazing. It's loud. It's fun. It sounds like an hour and a half.
The Hoyas had 164 people, I think.
Were they playing at Cap 1?
I was going to call it MCI Center. Yeah, 164 people. And just to show you the pettiness, the ushers made them all move back into their normal seats.
Amazing. Such a Georgetown move.
What is that? This is what happens when Democrats take over. This is the rules you want to enforce?
Speaking of Georgetown, I mean, Leonsis is probably having a heart attack right now. I don't know how the Caps are doing. Let's assume they're doing
No, they're doing great.
Oh, they're surging. Ovi, we had Ovi scored 1, I think, yesterday.
Saturday.
No, he got another one.
There was no game yesterday, Saturday.
Okay, Saturday.
I mean, Leonsis though has got to be losing money.
From what? The NBA's TV money. It's not concessions. It's or gate.
Who's still going to Cap One?
The Capitals
Capitals
still
strong
going.
draw. Yeah.
Second in the East, surging. I think we're 8-1-1 over the last
Trans-Siberian
10 games.
Orchestra just sold it out.
Who?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Yeah.
They're legit.
Yeah, they're legit. Yeah, say something.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, say something.
I'm going to the Kennedy Center to see Frozen, taking my daughter.
I mean, that sounds like a great time.
Oh, it's lovely.
Is it
Elf?
different than
Elf is back in theater. Take your kids to go see that too.
Elf or Alf?
Elf.
Really?
The
Back in
Kennedy
theaters.
Center?
No, just back in theaters.
Oh, the movie.
That's great. Well, I'll go to that. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know how we got here, but there was a couple other topics I wanted to go over.
We got here because the current state of DC sports, which is kind of what Steve was saying with Leontis. There's nothing.
I want to talk about Stevie's girl for a second, Angel Reese. I got to talk about it. I got to talk about Angel Reese.
You can't leave a pause after my girl. There's a lot of places I can go.
The John Cena girl, right?
Very, very. I mean, she's got Stevie's girl written all over her. Okay, she's got a crazy attitude. Okay, she doesn't take anything from anybody. She's a champion. Okay, she did her bit, and now she's suspended for terrible grades and choosing now to be quiet on the entire topic. I think it's a fascinating story. It also sucks for women's college sports that she's not there because she's really the only draw. Like she's the only notable, marketable female at the collegiate level, and come
on, there's that white girl at Iowa,
the one that she had the whole beef.
Oh yeah, okay.
She's an actual real basketball player.
Yeah.
Okay, but this whole thing was over the moms getting into it. Did you see that? That's the part of the story I really cared about.
Listen. The NIL money. It's the Shedeur Sanders principle, right? I mean, nobody cares about Shedeur. He got benched last week in the second half. Once these guys make their money, they're just now they're business. They're business people now. They're not athletes. They're student athletes. Are you kidding me? These are student athletes. Shedeur Sanders, Angel Reese. No,
in Colorado, they haven't won a game in 2 months.
They're so bad.
And Shedeur's Rolls Royce
McAfee
had a boot on it in the campus.
But now that we switched into college football, I don't know enough about this, but why aren't the Madison Dukes eligible?
James Madison.
Yeah, the James Madison Dukies. Why are they not eligible to play in a bowl? And it shouldn't be allowed. Like why?
Because they shifted up.
Okay, but now they're in the big leagues or whatever, right?
But
like
there's a 2-year essentially wait period to become bowl eligible. It is stupid,
right? McAfee's take was correct then, right? Like,
but it's a rule.
McAfee sucks.
But that was a good take. He was wearing a shirt when he gave it, so maybe you weren't listening. I know you're.
It's stupid.
Are you
it's a rule.
Are you?
I'm not I'm anti-McAfee. I didn't know he was a Barstool guy.
Oh, he's an ESPN guy now.
ESPN.
Dave Portnoy claims that he is the one who discovered him.
Is this like when Simmons claimed Portnoy?
I didn't know that, but I saw an interview.
He alluded to being the one to kind of like start this trend of like hot sports takery, basically.
Frat bro sports
takery.
That was actually exactly. I saw an interview with Dave Portnoy and my new guy, which we were talking about offline, Theo Vaughn, and Portnoy was saying that he discovered.
You should do a little more research into. Listen, I have openly admitted I indulge in the Andrew Tate universe. Like I'm interested, I'm curious, right? But every time I say that name, everyone's like, it's immediate. So maybe just a little bit more research into Theo, just so you know what you're dealing with. Just touch.
Listen, Joe,
he's polarizing for a reason.
We got to get to a place. Okay, now I'm going to get on my soapbox. Okay, where endorsement of someone on a specific contextual basis is not an endorsement of all. So if you say I like Andrew Tate, you say I like what I heard for Andrew Tate for 2 minutes on this specific take on.
I agree. I agree. I appreciate his crusade. Ignorant. I appreciate his crusade against the beta males.
And that is no endorsement of any personal actions that he takes.
I agree.
Of course,
I can't find this, but I'm pretty sure Andrew Tate is on record saying that it's beta to call a male a beta. I can't.
That would break my heart.
You go full circle.
He does it all the time, FB.
I know, but it goes full circle. Whereas It was either him or somebody talking
the
about
rest
him.
of the
saying,
network that I don't understand, right? Like there's so many like pearly thoughts that pop up into my feed, and the other guy, the intercourse coach guy, I don't know his name, but he pops up, and then the cowboy guy pops up. Like, I don't want all these other guys.
Don't give an inside look into your algorithm, Joe.
It's well, listen, as we just learned, I mean, media matters. Not to get political here, but media matters. Their days are numbered after what they tried to pull on X and on Elon. And he doesn't seem interested in letting up or letting him off the hook at all. This is legitimately like this is huge for free speech proponents, right? Like the Clay Travis First Amendment and boobs and all that some of that tomfoolery. Elon took it extremely personal when they went after X. Extremely, right? And the insanity that they tried to beat him at, like in the tech space, is nuts to me. Like you tried to you took screenshots that you doctored and they can prove it. Elon can prove that you just sat there basically clicking refresh a million times. It's done. Like Stevie, did you read the lawsuit that they filed? X?
I mean, I saw it all over X, but I didn't look into it.
Like just on what was documented, I don't even know how you combat it. Like the best thing they can do is come out and say sorry.
This is the classic, what I consider punching down. Media matters, no pun intended, doesn't matter. Right?
I disagree.
Who is like looking at them as like the source of authenticity and truth?
Media matters in the context of speech and coverage, because like when they publish 20 articles a month against a platform or against an individual, it's not that they necessarily want to do it. They're funded by someone, and this is where he's not going far enough. He's going after Media Matters. They're technically a nonprofit. You should go after their donors too.
Media matters in the same way that NBC News matters.
But they matter. That's where the national discourse comes from.
What?
Sure.
How many people watched Tucker Carlson's interview with Donald Trump on X? How many people watched MSNBC's Lester Holt or whatever that guy's name is? Okay, don't tell me the national discourse comes from the nightly news.
No, but you can't compare snapshot journalism. You can't compare X for an hour to MSNBC for 24 hours, 6 days a week.
Can we compare the top 5 teams in the NFL to the bottom 5 teams?
We can.
In the NFL?
I don't think we need to compare them, but I'll give you mine and you give me yours. Okay, it's a nice segue back into sports.
This guy trying to keep us on topic. Okay, come on.
It's the Commanders. I don't know. Well, okay.
I didn't say Commanders. I just said sports.
All right, here are my bottom 5: Panthers, Patriots, Cardinals, Giants, Bears. I'm tempted to put the Redskins in there, but I'm not. Just
as you should.
Those are mine. Do you disagree? Are you putting Commanders in there?
Panthers, Patriots, Cardinals. I think I'm going
Commanders, and then Giants.
Yeah, and then Giants.
I mean, the Giants and the Bears.
The Bears almost upset the Lions.
Yeah, they did.
Honestly,
you could never do that.
You say the Cardinals. Kyler's look decent. I don't know how you don't have the Jets in there when they benched their I don't know who's that quarterback anymore.
Because the Jets are exactly what Ron Rivera said the Redskins would be, which is a completely built team, one quarterback away.
You know, and the Commanders, I when I did the power rankings, I don't know, a couple hours ago, I had them at 26. But if I factor in expectations, they're dead last.
Yes,
because they are constructed to win. They are overhyped. Like the Panthers were not supposed to be competitive. The Patriots
I don't know about constructed to win. Look at their offensive line.
No.
Okay, maybe that's
Ashburn syndrome constructed.
Maybe I was Ashburning maybe a little bit too much, but to me they belong on this list. They're statistically terrible defensively.
They're a bottom 3 team hands down.
Yeah,
and not to be optimistic or not to sound positive in any way whatsoever, but I can't say constructed to win when. How much cap room do we have next year? 90 plus $1 million. Yeah. So if we do an autopsy in a couple of weeks on this team, we're going to look at it and say, maybe this was a tank year. And it was just the most undercover, greatest,
it's true,
tomfoolery. And this was a tank year, and that they're going all in next year and beyond.
You also have 5 picks in the top 100.
Is Ron the guy that you want to be here, Stevie? Are you still
for a tank year? Absolutely.
Well, going into next year, like if he did what you
if Ron Rivera keeps his job going into next
Okay,
season.
okay, don't even.
And-
Don't.
and-
No.
honestly, Joe,
I'll
it's
tell
not- I
you
don't
right
think it's an
now.
option.
I will delete. Me and LP own the domain for defeating the curse. We own all the rights. This podcast is going away. It's going up in the air. It's gone if Ron Rivera stays.
It's not an option.
Yeah,
It's not
I
an
don't
option.
think it's an option either.
Yeah, it's not an option.
All right, top 5. I got Eagles at 1, although I think I wasn't impressed with them at all yesterday. Hurts actually played pretty bad. I got the Ravens at 2. I think that team is peaking at the right time. Harbaugh always has them kind of in the mix. I love the Lions. I got the Lions at 3. I'm shaky on them, but I really like what they're getting from Gibbs right now. They've got depth at wide receiver. They look good. I like the Lions at 3. I've got the Chiefs slightly ahead of the 49ers at 4, and it's because of their quarterback predominantly. I think they will be competitive, and I think they're starting to find some help for Kelsey. Ironically, at the other tight end on the other side of the field. 49ers for me at the 5, and again, I'm a little shaky. Dolphins and Cowboys 6-ish and 7-ish, looking on the outside, looking in.
No.
But my surprise, honestly, I'm super surprised with what the Browns are doing. The Browns, they've got a winning formula. Like if you're gonna build around a defense, do it the way the Browns are doing.
Yeah.
You have to 100% dominate defensively, and get a little bit of production out of your offense. So I got them around 9, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that range. Texans are sniffing the top 10. Like there's some surprise teams, but Eagles and Ravens, Lions, Chiefs, 49ers. I think one of those is going to be.
I think you gotta shift it a little bit and factor in late season power football, cold weather into everything. And if you do that, I think you go Ravens, Lions, Niners, Eagles.
Oh, you
Chiefs.
can't have the Eagles that low.
Yes, you can. 100%.
They're a good defense. They got guys trying to.
They're a shaky defense with a weak.
Who's that guy's name?
secondary.
He's trying to intercept the spike. Do you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. But they're a shaky defense with
Carter,
a weak.
Do you see it, Stevie?
Deion Carter, the
secondary.
rookie.
Deion Carter, yeah. But Mahomes, I mean, the Chiefs. Mahomes had like 700 drops yesterday. If he had any receiver, if he had a Terry McLaurin, they're wiping the floor with the Eagles, right? I mean, that secondary of the Eagles is not good, but the receivers of the Chiefs are even worse. So I think you'll soon see a shift where the flashy teams are gonna drop down, and then the power teams are gonna rise, and the Ravens, the Lions, and the Niners.
I mean, the Dolphins can be a power team too, though. Dolphins they can run the ball.
They can run the ball, but they're not gimmicky, right? But they're warm weather and fast paced, and if it comes to smash mouth football, if it comes to a strong defense, if it comes to a Browns defense, it's struggle mode for them, right? And the Cowboys, if you look at their record, they've actually never beaten an over 500 team.
That won't change on Thursday.
I think we're at the point with NFC and AFC where you can look at there are 3 legitimate contenders in each. AFC, you're looking at Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs. I put the Dolphins there because I think that offense is potent. That can score on anybody. NFC is Eagles, Niners, Lions. And I think those 3 teams, those are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Everyone else is going to have to get really hot or get really lucky.
Well, the Bengals were getting really hot and it suffered a terrible setback, right? The Bills have shown that they can get really hot.
Too much dysfunction.
Yeah, I think
new OC, you don't know what's going to happen. Same thing with the Steelers. They have a great record, but they fired Matt Canada. They have a new OC, so you don't know what's going to come of it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of mix up in the 5 to 15 range, 6 to 15 range. If you do what Stevie said and say that 3 really good teams on each side.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the top 6, 7 teams. Any combination of them could win or lose to any combination of them. I think that's what sets them apart. I think when you get into that next level down, you're banking like the Texans could, right? They could hang and maybe beat in an upset type of play. You know, they could beat the Chiefs. You know, like they could.
They would be like the Jaguars of last year, where they just
the Jags are a good example too, right?
Yeah.
Jags are somewhere in that top 10, the bottom half of that top 10. Like they can run the ball, they can play defense. You know, the quarterback, as long as he plays within the system, he's okay. You know, like they can compete.
Story of the NFL right now, just from 100,000 foot level, there's a few really, really good teams and a whole bunch of bad teams. And this is crap. This league, they gotta take a macro level look at the league and think, what is happening to the product that's being put on the field? Because it's bad. And for a large swath of the country, they are seeing bad football on a consistent basis. They flex the Monday night games starting on Monday because there's some bad games set up and there's not that many good options.
A lot of the games suck, and the referees only make games worse, right? Yeah, you're not wrong, but also if you look at a team like the Texans, the NFL has a bright future because there's a couple good QBs coming up that can take over, right? And it's the thing about the NFL that makes the NFL so great is you can have a team like the Texans that can be absolute dog shit last year, right? First overall pick. And then in one offseason, completely turn it around and become a Cinderella story.
I agree with you, FP. And more so than in other leagues, coaching really matters in the NFL.
Yes, 100%.
It matters. Like your scheme matters. Can you scheme guys open? Can you scheme guys into coverage if you're calling defense? Much less in the NBA, right? The individual talent is going to shine in the NBA much more, right? Even though you're playing both ways. In the NFL, you like coaching absolutely matters. You can have the best roster, and we've seen it here. Like you can have talent, and the scheme is just archaic or slow or not, just not competitive. So the Texans are a good story. The Lions are a great story. I mean, the Eagles have been rebuilt 6 times or 3 times in the last 6 years. I mean, that's like, look at their starting quarterbacks that have taken them to Super Bowls. One of them wasn't in the league until 5 minutes ago, right? So, and I don't think Nick Folk is in the league at the moment, right? So like they've done it without the hardest position identified. The Giants, they're terrible, right? But they've got some key pieces in place. I mean,
they're terrible, but I mean, they get a Caleb Williams in the offseason, and then suddenly they could surge.
I think they're gonna. Well, they're maybe not them. I think you're gonna see a couple big name quarterbacks, younger guys, become available. I think the Chargers are gonna blow up the team. That's my midseason hot take. I could see them moving on for a really good package.
I could see them blow up the coaching staff. The Chargers are kind of dealing with what the Redskins are dealing with, where it's just,
we've said it before.
It's a bad fit.
Yeah, it's a bad fit.
It's a bad.
But I don't want Stately here either. Like I think they're squandering some of the best years of Justin Herbert right now, right? And Keenan Allen is doing his best to try to keep them competitive. You've got, I mean, they're always injured.
Well, you're seeing it with the Chiefs, right? When you win Super Bowls on a rookie contract, like they did with Mahomes, and then Mahomes gets his money, it's hard to keep winning and keep the roster up there, right? So that's what the Chiefs are dealing with now. They have no playmakers outside of Kelsey, who's one more hit from probably saying,
well, he's talking about
quit. Yeah,
the big clip this morning was,
that's what teams like the Redskins have to do. They have to see, we might have a guy in Sam Howell on a rookie contract. Now is the time where you build up the team and win before he has to get his money. Because he's going to get his money.
You have a window. Yeah. And you're not starting from scratch. Like you need
3 more years. The window's 3 years.
You need offensive line help. You need linebacker. You need linebackers so bad. I was actually actively cheering against Mayo getting all those sacks because it puffs him up into something he's not, which is a good NFL player.
Well, your other boy might be coming back, Cody Barton. So there you go.
Fine, whatever. Fine. But is there any chance? What's the over under? Give me a % chance that the Commanders beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas on Thursday.
If you have followed this team and Ron Rivera, there is a 200% chance that we will beat the Cowboys when nobody wants to suddenly get a worse draft pick. Ron Rivera will find a way to do that by accident.
If it hurts the team, there's a 40% chance.
Yeah. So even when we want them to lose,
yes,
they're going to win and still ruin. So either way, either way, our day is ruined basically. So happy Thanksgiving early from DTC. That's, I guess, maybe that's where we leave the show. Yeah, I'm thankful for you boys. I'm thankful for the show. Thank you guys for hanging out and making time here on a Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If they lose and it's ugly, do you think we see Ron go bye-bye?
Black Friday.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen Black Friday, he's here the rest of the season.
Through January, yeah. All right, any final parting words, Stevie?
No, I got to go look up Theo Vaughn a little bit more.
Enjoy the death scrolling on the toilet. FP, you.
But Dana White, watch that clip with Theo Vaughn and Dana White, all right?
Dana White's got FP and I doing a liquid fast over here.
Yeah,
hey, I'm in.
On a liquid fast? I mean, We're
Bone broth.
46 hours in right now.
How y'all do without me?
I mean,
Nobody
I have a
texted me. Nobody sent anything.
pounding headache.
This is just the trial
This is the
run.
two.
We'll
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do the big boy one. You'll be included.
Dude, let's do it the week after Thanksgiving.
So we're talking
That's
we're
next
talking to
week.
Pete. We're talking about like we're looking at mid-December right now, pre-Christmas, Sunday evening through
Wednesday.
Thursday lunch.
No, 72 hours.
Well, we're doing 48 now. We're doing okay.
Bone broth.
Doing okay is a
yeah.
loose one.
The electrolytes. Did you know you can over electrolyte your body? I learned that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
big problem.
Yeah.
FP, any final thoughts, FP?
No, I'm really hungry. That's my final thought.
Okay. Thank you, boys. DTC, get the show anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you for hanging out with us. Until next week, happy Thanksgiving. Go Commanders. Wink, wink. We'll see you next week.